I had no idea what time it was. I just woke up. My dog was whimpering and kind of woke me up, and then I knew she was having a seizure, and got out of bed, and I called 911 on my side of the bed.
Kevin West says his wife had a seizure, and that's what led to her death. But could testimony from the medical examiner be tipping the scales of justice against him? So Tuesday, Dr. Martha Bird, who performed the autopsy on Kevin's wife, Marcy West, had this to say about how Marcy died.
Are the injuries that you documented only consistent with a rear naked choke?
No.
Are they also consistent with putting your fingers into somebody's neck?
Yes.
Defense counsel asked why you hadn't included mention of a massage in your report. What was the cause of death indicated in your report?
I listed the cause of death as asphyxia due to blunt neck trauma.
And why call it asphyxia and not strangulation?
I used those terms specifically and not strangulation because strangulation has different meanings in different contexts, and to avoid any miscommunication or misinterpretation, I chose words that would be accurate and not exclude or limit interpretation.
All right, she went on to say that homicide is the appropriate manner of death here. So due to Marcy's injuries, she's saying most likely coming from the actions of another person, will this defense theory of an intense massage hold up? I would assume they've got their own expert on deck. We'll see when they get their chance to present. Let's talk about it now with our guests. Still with me, Sonny Slaughter. I want to welcome in criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor David Gelman. All right, so let's dig into this. So an intense massage leads to a seizure that leads to a death is what the defense is saying here. David, what say you about that theory?
It's a theory, that's for sure. I don't know how well the jury's really going to buy this. Honestly, look, juries are smart. We know this, Joel. So this is not something that the defense is going to have to. They're going to have to do something. So their defense, their expert, like you're saying, really better step up, because this expert for the prosecution, they did a very good job, in my opinion, here. And I think that just showing that, look, she didn't die from a seizure. She died from blunt force trauma, from a strangulation, from asphyxiation. So their expert better be on the ball. That's all I could say.
Right, David. Yeah, battle with experts coming up here. Sonny, you've seen it before. So your thoughts when you hear about this theory postured by this defense team? Sonny, do you think there are jurors who might buy into this and believe it?
Absolutely not. Because as somebody who actually wrote the training on epilepsy and seizures for public safety, they have to tie in how a person could have a massage, physical, and then have a seizure, which is electrical brain activity. And what does that look like? And the reality of that those two don't not only measure, but they don't meet up in the middle for whatever this theory is that doesn't make sense. They have to bring logic and understanding to a jury, and that is not logical. It does not make sense, especially when the manner is listed as homicide and asphyxiation, which people know means that something physical had to happen, and a massage would not make this possible or plausible.
Oh, Sonny, thank you for that. I didn't even know you wrote that training. That is awesome and very impressive. Thank you. Dr. Bird, the medical examiner who we just saw a moment ago, I've got another clip from her. This is when she was asked on redirect to explain why she doesn't think this massage theory holds up.
The location of the contusion is, part of it is over a bony prominence, which is not a focus of a tissue massage. If there is slow continual pressure of the tissue sufficient to cause bleeding in the muscles, I would expect there to be injury to the skin surface.
Oh, that's a good answer, isn't it? Sunny, I see you nodding. You like that. Tell us your thoughts on what the doctor said.
So there would be bruising, is what she's essentially saying. There would be bruising on the neck that would be visible. And also, a person who is getting a massage would react in a certain way for the pressure points that is being applied when you are massaging. And that even with a deep tissue massage, you don't come up with bruising. And if you do, that means the person is not trained properly and they don't know what they're doing. But there would be a reaction from the person that is being massaged and handled in this manner.
Right, Sunny. David, tell me, being somebody who tries cases on both sides, you've been a prosecutor, you're in the private sector now doing criminal defense work. Thinking like this defense team must, trying to advocate for him the best way they can. Do you think this is all they've got, in terms of where else they can go on these facts? I'm curious, do you see any other avenues that they can pursue that may be viable here?
Hey, that's a great question, Julie. I don't know. I mean, frankly, I think, this probably is all they got. So they better just go forward with it and try to, just hit a home run with it. Because right now, that expert, I'd love to have that expert testify for me. She was brilliant. She really broke it down. Look, you know how it is. When you have medical jargon and legal jargon, juries don't really want to hear about that. They want to get it down. They want to break it down to the nuts and bolts so they can understand it. And I thought this expert did a really, really good job at doing that so everybody can understand it. Now, their expert for the defense, they're going to have to do the same thing, and they're going to have to counteract exactly what this expert just said. And they're going to have to say, look, no, this is not blunt force trauma. This was an individual doing a massage, and they can point to the pressure points and whatnot. Obviously, that's above my pay grade, but their new expert, they're going to have an uphill battle, I should say.
Yeah, great points, David. Sunny, let me ask you, when I think about what Mr. West, the battalion chief for 22 years, and husband for 22, what he's gonna do. We know he's got the first responder training, right? And when he gets a chance to testify, and we know that was partly what, had investigators not thinking this was a homicide, at first, or think, oh, because he's saying I tried to save her life, and that's what he's trained to do. What do you think he's gonna do, Sunny? Do you think we're gonna see him get up there and try to explain the massage and how she gets these therapeutic massages and how the seizure went, that morning? What do you think we're going to see from him?
I think he is going to testify because I think he needs to try to explain what not only the case's theory, but his reaction as a trained expert who should be able to recognize these things based on his background and how he responded. So he's going to want to because he's a narcissist, and he's going to need to because he has the expertise, and their theory won't make sense unless he gets on the witness stand, and like David said, they have an expert as good as the prosecution.
Right. Well said, Sunny. Yeah, and my goodness, he's still with the lover. They're engaged now. Now she's the fiance, and we're going to watch all the unaired footage coming up in just a short time. That'll be a treat, and maybe that'll kind of inform what he's going to do on the stand. I would think, come on, he's a defendant, the big benefit. You get to see all the witnesses testify. So great points from you both on Mr. West. We'll see what happens with this massage theory as it continues to be put forth.